Okay, we'll give it a few more minutes. I know I had a problem getting on, and maybe some others are as well. So, okay, we'll go ahead and kick it off. Welcome to the January 8th Spokane Regional Law and Justice Council meeting. We generally do open up every meeting with a public forum, and Medea will be displaying that is on the screen as well. So greetings everyone. Today's SRLJC meeting will begin with public comment for 15 minutes. As a reminder, there's a 3-minute limit per individual. Speakers should address matters which are within the powers of the duties of the SRLJC. Speakers should also identify themselves and address the chair. Council members will not engage in dialogue with the speakers. If you'd like to comment and have not done so already, send a chat message to the admin assistant. She will give you a speaker number and announce when it's your turn to speak. And that is on your screen now. So we'll wait to see if we have anyone that's from the public that would like to talk to us today. Medea, are you seeing anything in the way of someone wanting to address the council?
Not at this time.
Okay, no email and no phone calls as well?
That is correct.
All right, we'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll close the session just to make sure. Okay, second call for anyone that wishes to talk to the council. Third and last call for anyone that would like to open up in public comment for the council. And again, Medea, you see no one, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, we're moving on. Next order of business is the November 13th, 2024 SRLJC minutes for approval. So I will open it up for a motion. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Not everybody all at once.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second. This is Tori.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed. Motion carries forth.
For the
Yeah.
record, I'm going to abstain, Mike, just because this is Brian Baggs, because I wasn't a member then and I wasn't part of it. So
Copy that. We'll make note of that in the records so that it reflects that, Brian. Thank you. Okay, well, welcome. Everybody had a good holiday. It's enjoyed our time off. There's the end of this last year just was crazy. There was so much to get done. I think literally I made contact and spoke to all of you guys over the course of at least November and December, trying to close out some things. Call in, make an adjustment to contracts, getting that all dialed in. Tim coming back from a state closure. I mean, it just seems like everything. And of course, Aaron Stromberger helped, was an instrumental part of the capstone and working with him as well. So before I move on, I would like to introduce a new member to our, not so new, all of us pretty much know him, but Judge Brian Biggs. So Brian, you got a minute to talk about your interest in the council and how you arrived here? If you can unmute.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Brian Beggs, and I'm a former member of the SRLJC when I was city council president for the city of Spokane. I've had an abiding passion and interest in all things criminal justice reform and trying to figure out how we can better operate the jail and the whole system since really back in 2011. A few of us started Spokane Smart Justice, and just met with David Bennett back in the day, and all through the blueprint 1.0 and 2.0 and all those things. So super interested. And when Judge Fennessy was no longer going to be a member, Judge Zamblin, who's the new presiding judge, asked me to serve, and I really couldn't be more excited. And as a side note, I am also on, there's a statewide commission going right now just for the next year on jail modernization and trying to figure out resources and procedures and maybe thinking a little outside the box, all sorts of stakeholders, sheriffs, prosecutors, county commissioners, a few judges, DOC, and jail operators. So I have that meeting on Friday in Seattle. So it's a nice interplay between the two. And I know most of you, and so happy to be working with you.
Thank you, Brian. Also, another new face is Judge Johnson, and I'll have him introduce himself and talk for a minute if he could, please.
Hi, folks. I am Judge Johnson. I am the newly elected presiding judge for Spokane County District Court. Happy to serve. I know some of you as well. Very good to see you. Excited to be part of this group. And that's all I got for you. Thank you.
That's all we need. That's good enough. Thank you, Judge. Okay, I'll start off on the agenda. The next topic is the capstone. As you're aware, we applied for the capstone grant, and some of you is probably some background need to be provided for the two judges. But the elements of the capstone essentially were 2 additional staff members for pretrial services. One would be dedicated to aid with the monitored releases, and some from the monitored releases from district court. The other one would work as a court date reminder and a kind of a warrant avoidance specialist that would be making court date reminders to those that are to show up for court, make contact with those that didn't, try to find out if there's a way to get them to court, try to avoid a warrant and some of those type of things. So I think it's a great step in the right direction. Aaron has got a great plan in place that he submitted to the MacArthur Foundation that I'll let him speak in a few minutes on what he's got developed for that. Also, developing a dashboard for us to monitor the results from it for starting ground. We'll start ground zero, and then we'll monitor our results and report back to the MacArthur Foundation based on the outcomes from pretrial services. I did announce that we did have a pretrial services dashboard. Aaron, I believe it's outward facing now. Is that correct? Or are we still waiting to make a presentation to the board?
As far as I know, that's where we're at. It's on the county side. Staff can see it, but not public facing yet.
Okay. So it is available if you go under pretrial services or you go under the regional law and justice. You could click on the pretrial services dashboard. Very robust, did a really good job of putting that together. And we're going to use that to kind of monitor our results moving forward. We ended our contract with Pioneer Services for a supported release program. We're going to shift that instead over the purview of pretrial services. We're going to do some revamping to that as well, and Aaron can kind of shed some light on that topic as well. We're also going to develop a court navigator, kind of a peer position that will be available to help folks navigate to and from court, all the courts, and that we have some monitors around, but there'll also be a live person to help with those things and to assist with it. Justice Management Institute, or JMI, is helping us kind of navigate and put that program together. And Aaron has got some background on that as well. We're also looking at a kiosk system that could help navigation just a bit more easier. We want to be located in the the courthouse, and then one also in the public safety building for district courts. We're going to continue with the bus pass. As you know, that the rideshare program kind of met its surmise because it was a very expensive program and there wasn't one that we could sustain on ongoing periods, but we are going to continue with the bus passes. The last element that I'll kind of talk about is the community engagement. I'll come back to that because there's some information on that I'd like to share with you. When I left off in last report, we had a report that was due to MacArthur by the end of the year. I completed that report. And I think some of you may have got a copy of it if you're in the core group. I submitted it to MacArthur. Nita looked it over, said she didn't see any issues with it. So she'll likely release the rest of the funds so we can get started on some of the stuff that we've got. So Aaron, why don't you kind of pick up and just give an overview of what the capstone means to you and what it's going to do for your department.
Certainly. And let me correct something I said earlier. It does appear like our pretrial dashboard is public facing now. I just checked
Okay.
the county website and it is up there. So we are go for launch. Yeah, so with the capstone grant, we are anticipating bringing on 2 additional staff, like Mike had mentioned. One of those staff members is going to assist with the supported release program, which we're looking to relaunch in district court. There's been a hiatus from when it was operated by Pioneer. It's going to be brought under pretrial services just to streamline it. We're here on campus, excuse me, here on campus already. We have good experience with case management on the Superior Court side. Got a lot of good practices in place. So hopefully see some results and get the program back on its feet. We have a mental health professional here who's going to be a big part of that as far as resource referral, evaluations for mental health and substance abuse treatment, et cetera. So that's a new program for our department, somewhat similar to our felony monitored release, but definitely geared more towards some supported services. And then obviously it's in district court just to start. And then yeah, we're going to have another employee really focusing on court date reminders, particularly at the arraignment stage. That's a pretty critical juncture, that first court date after release, trying to keep them engaged. And then if they do happen to miss court, we're going to help them on the backside with warrant recall assistance, getting on bench warrant recalls, et cetera. Can't remember what else you wanted me to talk about, Mike. Those are the 2 positions. Oh, the court navigator position. We got some really good ideas from some folks down in Asheville, North Carolina. They have a navigator who sits at the entrance of their courthouse and provides wayfinding assistance. People don't know where their courtrooms are, where they need to be. So that's one big component of it, I think. I mean, as you guys know here, we have 3 or 4 different buildings. People are coming in and don't know the difference between them and don't know where to go once they're inside. So I think even beyond just this grant project, this is a much needed position on the county courthouse campus to have somebody to really point people towards the right courtroom, office, department. So I think that's going to be a real benefit to Spokane County. We're going to build that probably on the tail end of this project, but as we bring on more staff. But that's one we're working with JMI and some other examples across the country, like in North Carolina, that are helping us draft that. So that's what's on our plate for the start of 2025 here.
And then have you already posted those positions there and you're getting ready to post them, or?
So we're interviewing right now for our open position that was already there, and we're hoping to use some of those candidates to fill those grant positions. So yeah.
Super. That's great. That's fantastic. Any questions for Aaron before I kind of cover the next little part of it? Okay, super.
Yeah,
Wait, I
Go
do
ahead.
have one question. Sorry.
Okay.
Mike. Aaron, how long have you had your MHP?
She's been here, I think she just said 9 years, 8 or
With
9
you?
years with pretrial services. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
Yeah.
I might give you a call and we can chat about that.
You bet.
Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron, just a heads up. So the Judicial Information Systems Committee, JISC, with AOC has been working for about the past 18 months on a court notification texting program for the Odyssey systems.
Okay.
Right now, it's at the Superior Court level. I believe, Colin, we still have our own system. I think you still have your system for notifications, a separate system. But this will be a statewide system only for the Odyssey courts. We're not an Odyssey court. But they're going to move it down to the courts of limited jurisdiction, district court and municipal court at some point. So just a heads up on that notification capability that'll be coming down that the state's paying for.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, currently the information we put in goes to Uptrust for Collins. So we're kind of integrated with them right now, but can't hurt to have another notifier.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay. The last little components of community engagement, one thing that we realized, in speaking with the core group and really with everyone, that our community engagement hasn't been a real strong area for us as far as getting out and talking to the public about the criminal justice system, some of the things that we're doing, some of the, being available to address some of the questions that they have, and just talk about the process and what the process is about. A lot of people don't understand it, and so in talking to JMI, they kind of led us along the path to meet up with Gwen Wright is their last name, and she's a member of NACO, and she's also a member of the MacArthur Foundation. She's renowned for starting community engagement projects. And so we met with her, and then we also met with some of the public and talked to the public about ways that we could engage the community in these conversations, kind of going along with what Brian was talking about. And she has some good ideas. And one of the things that she had talked about is developing a task force that would be devoted to doing this, to going out and speaking, and then allowing the various practitioners, some from district court, some pretrial, call in. I mean, anybody that would be available to come out and talk to the public and just kind of talk about their function in public safety and what they do, and then be there to kind of field some of the questions that go along with it. Then also their concerns. The public has a lot of concerns. There's a lot of trust issues that are underlying there that need to be addressed. So we're developing the list for the work or the task group as I speak. And I know that I spoke to some of you through the core group and also through here, through the SRLJC. If you would want to volunteer to be at least have the opportunity to go out and speak to the public, we'd certainly welcome it and like to have your name once we get it developed and once we start working as a group. I know that two of the commissioners are going to be on it. I know that Amber is going to be one of them, and I'm still waiting to hear back from Al, Mary, and Josh, which other one would like to be involved with the process. But I think it sends a good message to our community that we're willing to listen and understand what the issues are and try to do something about it, and not just pay it lip service. Just try to get out in front of it and deal with some of the underlying issues if we have the power to do so. If not, we can at least explain why we don't have the power to do so. And so that's kind of the community engagement portion of the capstone. You'll be hearing a lot more about it. And then Gwen did speak to this group as well when she was in town, as well as the core group. So she's very, very good at what she does. She's got some great ideas on how to navigate our way through these waters that we're not too familiar with. And so we're going to look for her help to do that. So expect more to come out of the community engagement side of it. Questions on that part of it? And I know this is redundant to a lot of you because we've talked about it before, but I just want to keep bringing it up so you guys understand some of the other things that are occurring and going on as far as, the capstone is concerned.
Mike, I'll just volunteer. As you know, I'm very interested in community engagement, so I'm happy to do any speaking or be part of the planning. So just so you know.
It's funny you should say that, Brian, because I already have your name listed as one of them. So welcome aboard. You expressed it. You've expressed it, that to me in the past. So I said I'm sure he'll want to do it. So I'll put his name down as one of the people that would want to be involved with it. But the others, I'd really appreciate if you have the opportunity to do it, and we can fit it within your schedule and make it easy for you to get there. Then we'd like to have you guys come and speak on some of your departments. The state has launched the 1115 Medicare waiver program. As you know, it's been very slow in developing, as Tori can contest to. The state has moved back the cohorts, moved the cohorts up to March that were supposed to be involved with the program by the end of this year. They're still developing all of the criteria and the codes that go along with it. The way that they're doing is they're releasing the information on an iterative basis where they'll have a webinar, then they'll release the information, then they'll move to the next component of it. It's taken a long time for it to get it. We do have a project manager that's working on the program. His name is Eric Green. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to meet with him. I'm going to have him come to the next SRLJC meeting and give a rollout to you and explain some of the various parts of it. And basically, it's billing back the state on some of the services that we haven't been able to bill for before. And so it's going to be a great opportunity to do that. But the rollout is really slow. Tori, did you want to add anything to that? from the juvenile side of it.
It's pure torture.
Yeah, it is torture.
Yeah.
I'll go along with that. Is
Complex
it-
and slow, and they don't know they're building, as they say, the airplane in the air.
Yeah.
Long-term benefits, I think, should this
Mhm.
get up and going, I think,
Yeah.
or it's a savings to the county. So,
Yeah. It'd be good once it's up and going, but holy Moses, yeah, getting it going has just been just a real artist process. So
well, and most of us don't speak that language.
yeah,
And you can start to get into Medicare and Healthcare Authority, and poor Justin Johnson. I mean, we rely on him heavily.
yeah, yeah. And Justin Johnson is our expert on that. He's been really involved with that part of it. So you might have an opportunity to have him come along with Eric Green just to talk about it. It might be beneficial too for the SRLJC group. So, and then the last project, well, not the last, but another project that I'm working on is a crisis relief and sobering center. It's going to be a building that's designed to be 23 hours and 59 minutes to provide sobering and crisis relief, mental health relief. It's available for first responders, also available for walk-up for the public to get services if they need it, and referrals from the 988 program. So it's meant to help with suicide referrals, co-occurring sobering, drug withdrawals. And by the standards, we're supposed to have a 90% acceptance rate. Justin Johnson's working on it. He'll be the operator. I'm just taking care of the construction part and getting to the construction side of it. It's going to be located right next to the current Spokane Mill Hill Stabilization Center. It will be just to the east of it in that same parking area, or that same lot area. What else can I tell you about the selection committee? We're going through the RFPs right now to select a firm to do the design. We're going to go to the design build methodology to try to speed the process up. We're down to the top 3 finalists, which I can't share with you, but we're down to 3, and then we're ultimately going to do the interviews on Friday, and then hopefully have the finalists that's going to be doing our design by the 14th of January. And then along with that, we're also working on steps, working with Justin on developing an RFP for the provider that will actually do the operation of the facility. We do want to bring them on for a portion of the design work because we need them to help with the design on the interior of it so that it operates and functions the way they're supposed to be and conducive with their methodologies. So we're going to be releasing that as well. So you should hear more about that portion of it as we go on. So any other questions? Okay, now I get to ask you. Tim, how are we doing on that therapeutic court side of things?
We haven't met this new year yet, but as soon as we're done with the pretrial services dashboard and all, I think we're next in line for the therapeutic court dashboard. And we have all that information sent in that your analyst is looking at and dividing up and preparing. And so I think the next thing we do is my committee needs to meet again, and then we need to start talking about going forward with this dashboard on the information on therapeutic courts, what they are, number of attendees, success rates, and all that stuff.
Okay. Well, then let us know when you're ready for that. We'll meet with you, and then all that information is going to come out of Odyssey, correct? Or is it going to be drawn from some other areas as well, Tim?
It will be drawn from several sources. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to need to work on those and get on those as early as we can and start getting IT involved to help us with some of those interfaces and putting those together. So.
In October, we sent you that big batch of data. I know that they're still sorting through. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we're looking forward to that. Still don't have any applicants for the racial inequity committee member. Still waiting for someone to step forward for that. It is posted like it should be with the county commissioner's site, so they can go on and see that it's available for them. John is graciously staying on until we find a replacement for him. If not, then we'll probably be knocking on your door again, John, to see if you'd be interested in sticking around to help out with that part of it. So
I'll stick around as long as I need to, Mike. That's in the bylaws, and it's also in my heart. I'm not going to leave until my position is filled, I'll remind everybody what I said last meeting is I really think we need to focus on racial equity committee chair and not worry about me overrunning my position. I'm supposed to be out of here, but the bylaws actually say that the committee member, until they can be replaced, shall remain in that position. So I'm willing to do that for as long as it takes.
I appreciate that, John. I know everybody else does as well. Last meeting we had, I've been appointed again as chair for another year, and no one else wanted to step up and take on that responsibility as I look around the faces. And then my vice president will be Justin Bingham, because no one wanted to step up for that position as well. And he's doing such a fine job that he's going to be the vice president. So that is about all I had on the agenda. So why don't we just kind of open up if from your departments, you guys have anything to share, anything that's going on or you would like to talk about, that would be fantastic. Tim, always first, Tim.
And just a heads up to everybody, the court network shutdown that happened on 1 November. I think everybody dealt with that and how difficult it was. 37 of 39 counties are caught up. King and Pierce are still behind. But here in Spokane, we're back within the court standards, court rule, local court rule 79, our 24-hour lag period. All the documents are back in. It was a total of 56,000 plus backlog documents. They're all entered in now. Electronic filing is back online. And now we have moved our entire court record over to digital archives at Cheney for people to access. And then at some point, we'll be able to take our website, our portal down, and let digital archives handle the online access to the court records.
That's fantastic.
Great for us.
Yeah. So you took advantage of this opportunity to archive and get it all electronic. I like it.
We actually started that 2 years ago, but it takes them so long. I mean, we have hundreds of thousands of records. So it takes them so long to move all the batches over and verify the batches, especially when you start sending confidential or sealed documents over there. You got to check those all individually.
Yeah. And
So it takes a long time for digital archives to get a county set up on the system. But once you're set up, I mean, it's a great deal. It really is. State pays for all of it. So
yeah. And you're fully staffed right now, is that right?
I've been fully staffed for a while. Yep.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. How about you, Colin? What's going on in your world? Anything? Yes, everything, but
I'm jealous of Tim a little bit. We're not fully staffed yet, but we're working on it. We're getting closer. So we're down 2 at the moment. So hopefully pretty soon we'll have those positions filled and be in a good slot. Also for this group, Aaron and I have been chatting about supported release, and I had some questions for him and he answered. And for Judge Johnson, I'll probably loop you in at some point too. Judge Fossbender and I disagreed a little bit on how supported release should be run through district court. I think it's in a different position now, and as Aaron already said, it's very similar to the monitored release that's being done in Superior Court. And oftentimes on the court's own motion, they will say, hey, this person, I'm not inclined to OR this individual, but this person seems like they might be a good candidate for monitored release. Well, I think that same sort of logic and analysis can be applied in district court, especially now that it's under the pretrial services umbrella rather than a third party. And anyway, Judge, I just want to give you a heads up. I'll be chatting with you and Aaron about that because I think it's going to be, for the program to really work, I think it's necessary to get some judicial input as well at the first appearance level at the time of hearing. Part of the issue, as all of you guys know, is we have a bunch of new people coming in. They're new hires right out of law school. We're training them. And just like last time, we gave them all the information on supported release. But for them to know who's going to be a good candidate for the program and who's not, or who would be OR'd and who probably wouldn't be, is difficult. And certainly on motion from our lawyers, we will make those motions and continue to make those motions like we did before. But Judge, I wanted to let you know that I'd chat with you about that. And hopefully we can work together to make the program work. And Aaron, you too. Thanks.
Sounds good, Colin. Look forward to chatting with you.
what, Judge, while you're on, anything in district court you'd like to share with us?
No.
That was easy.
And I joke, we've got plenty going on, but we have completed our transfer of judges. Every couple years, we take on new docket assignments, so we're working through that. And we are, I guess, working through that. So that's a change for everybody, and we'll see how the process unfolds. I'm pretty new into it, so climbing the learning curve of presiding. And but seriously, I'm happy to field any calls, reach out. I really want to do a good job being available to folks.
Okay, great. Kristen, how about from the municipal side? Anything on that side?
Sorry, I was late. My docket ran long, so I apologize for being tardy. Happy New Year's to you all. Let's see, for us, we also did for the, I think legitimately for the first time in the history of municipal court, we did a alpha rotation as well, with the exception of when a new judge came on. So we're kind of working through that as well. So we just rotated our caseload. So we have new attorneys, defendants get different judges. And so I think it's ultimately going to be a positive change, but we're working through some of the kinks on that. As far as other updates, you know, we survived the city budget. We're not looking at major cuts, so we were able to maintain our current positions, which was really positive because the bulk of that was coming out of community justice services or supervision. So that's a positive thing. Still plugging away with our treatment courts and our pretrial services unit. So, you know, really kind of looking forward to the new year. I am still presiding for at least another year. I know we gave our condolences and our congratulations to Judge Johnson in advance sheets this morning, so I never know how to quite approach whether it's a congratulation or a condolence, but
Little of each.
Yeah, little of each. So we're plugging along here in municipal court. I'm trying to think if there's any other updates that would be pertinent for this group, and nothing else is really coming to mind.
Okay, super. Brian, anything from on the Superior Court front? I know you're not the presiding, but
yeah. Well, so I already mentioned, obviously Judge Fennessy left and he was presiding and chief criminal. So Judge Zamblin is going to be the new presiding, and I believe she's also going to take over therapeutic courts. And Judge Clary is going to move to their IC docket, so he'll be doing some criminal. And Judge Belkengren is the new criminal presiding. And, you know, aside from just different personalities and people, the other thing that would probably be of interest to this group is there was kind of a blanket disqualification notice against Judge Fennessy on anything that had to do with any sex charges, which I never really understood, but was there. So it complicated things for us. So that is no longer there. And other than that, it continues to march on, and we're of course hopeful that all prosecutors, public defenders, and pretrial services get fully staffed so that that's not an issue. So we're supportive of that. One piece about being a judge, then instead of lobbying the legislature directly, you do everything through the Superior Court Judges Association. And so I'm on the criminal law committee for them and getting involved in some of the lobbying things. So we're trying to get more funding for everybody. And if anything interesting comes up, I'll let you know.
great. Katie?
Hi, everyone. You know, everything at the prosecutor's office is good right now. I mean, like Colin's office, you know, we are still down a couple of attorneys, which is always difficult, but I kind of take solace in the fact that this is a nationwide problem. We're not alone in Spokane. We've got to do our best to get new lawyers excited about public service, about joining the public defender's office, joining the prosecutor's office, and doing the work that our community needs. And so I think to that end, we've been attending some on-campus interviews, you know, trying to convince folks that government law is a really good place to work and that you can make a really positive impact. But I feel like we're doing well. I'm sure some of you have had a chance to meet our new chief civil attorney, Matt Folsom. He started right before the first of the year. I think he's been a really positive addition to the office. He seems like a great person and a great attorney. So that has been a really nice thing in our office. And we've also brought on a couple of more folks in our civil department, which has also been really positive. But on the criminal side, I think we are still down maybe 5 or 6 positions, but we are striving to fill those and otherwise doing well. You may have heard there were a couple of different news pieces, and I talked to Aaron about this. Our office did receive some grant funding for a pilot program for organized retail theft. It contains a diversionary component in it. So as part of that grant, we will be keeping track of the number of diversions that we offer to individuals and the number of diversions that are accepted. And hopefully those will be informative numbers for grant purposes. But that is something that was new to our office. But otherwise, I can't think of anything else that this group might be interested in.
Okay. Thank you, Katie. Tori, how about your front?
Well, we are almost fully staffed. Have some conditional offers out for detention, so that'll put us down 1 there. And then filling some positions in probation that should get us fully staffed, with the exception of, and Aaron, that's why I would like to give you a call. I cannot find a mental health professional. It's been over a year for our detention center, and we are down to 1 nurse. It's funding. Then anybody says it's pay. It's what is pay. I mean, we just cannot compete with the private sector. So that's been tough. Fortunately, we still have the jail mental health professionals helping us out over here, and they've just been wonderful, and they're great with the kids. We have our new domestic violence program up and running. It's called Positive Family Connections. For the past year, we've been getting 2 types of offenses: weapons, high crime, serious crime, high risk kids, or domestic violence. A lot of domestic violence kids against family. So they come in, those are misdemeanors. They don't meet our detention criteria, so they go right back home to where the crisis occurred. So, juvenile courts have been doing diversion for 50+ years, but this is like a pre-diversion. Diversion counts as criminal history. This would not. It's getting that mental health professional, that family specialist who we contract with in one of our other programs, connected to that family within 24 to 48 hours of that crisis happening in the home, and connecting them to services in the community and/or providing that therapy themselves. So a little bit of the trend in juvenile justice is serving the kids earlier and earlier before they really get into the formal system. So that's been fun. It's been fun for staff. Juvenile jail sales tax measure passed, obviously. So you think that would mean I'm fully funded, but it doesn't quite. But the fact that it passed, for anybody on here involved in support of that, thank you. It's critical that passed. So we did a lot of public speaking on that out there, engaging the community. So Mike, I'm more than happy if there's any juvenile justice issues or matters that people want spoken to, I can do that when that time comes.
Yeah, I think that would be a part of it as well. Any of these renewals, the more conversation we have them and the more trust we develop, that'd be far better. They'll have an understanding of it before we put it out. So, okay, well, I'm not going to exclude you, John. John, do you have anything?
Just real quick, Mike, in 25, I want to really put a push for the therapeutic courts, and it does come down to funding. If we're going to make a run with this and have a positive impact on the community, we need personnel and the funding to guide people through the therapeutic courts. I really think that's the answer. Due to our last election, where we're not going to do anything about facilities, I think more and more people might fit into the therapeutic court model. And so just a message to the commissioners, we need more money to get that rolling. And that's where I'm at. But we're going to meet here pretty quick with Tim and other members of the therapeutic court committee. And we can talk. I'll talk to them a little bit more about that. But I wanted to give a heads up to everybody on this council that I really feel like it's where we need to be headed, and I think there's a lot of I have a lot of hope for those programs.
Okay, good. Aaron, I'm assuming you don't have any last minute things? Or do you?
I've said all I can say.
That's all you've got? All right. All right, well then I'll let you guys go, give you back 15 minutes. As usual, I'm happy to hear everything that's going on, and instead of me telling you everything that's going on over in my office. So if you guys need anything, you know, my job is at your disposal. So just let me know. I can help anyway. I'm more than happy to help with it. Brian, we are still researching what you sent me by email. I'll continue to do that as well. So if any of you guys have questions like that, just feel free to email me and let me know what your questions are, and I'll try to help you out as soon as I can. So, all right, you guys have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you.